Oh.
Hi.
Oh my god, it's insane, guys.
Hi.
Oh my god, I really don't know what to say, guys. This is
Surprise.
such a moment.
Welcome.
Hi Tara, hi Fernando, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having us. Tara just called me. Hey, you should enjoy the party. I'm like, okay.
I mean, guys, this
is so cool.
Yeah, this is
We're
story.
so happy you're here.
Thank you so much again for joining us. We're having such a blast
Oh my gosh,
today.
of course.
I mean, look at the chat. Everyone is going nuts. As they should, of course.
Is everyone listening, like all over the world?
Yes, of course. All our fans are listening from all parts of the globe.
Oh my god, that's so exciting.
I saw someone saying this right now it's 4 a.m. in my country, but I'm still here. So.
Oh my gosh, I'm a little much of a dinosaur, so I had a little trouble with what was happening. It's so complicated. You guys are like so smart with all of your apps and stuff, but this is so cool.
Yeah. So guys, before we start again with the listening party, I have to ask you both, what's your favorite song of Born This Way?
Fernando, go.
Wait. That's a typical question. It's like saying, what's your favorite daughter or son?
I know.
So
Yes.
It's a difficult question. It's almost, if you can mute all the other songs so the song I say doesn't hear, then that would probably be more I don't know. I'll go. I'll start. I mean, like obviously, like the one that kicked it off is the title song of the album, right? Like, who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
But for me, I think "Married Tonight" was the most. I guess I look at it not like how much do I enjoy a song, but how much did I enjoy the process of making it with GaGa?
Yeah.
So to answer that question, I would say it's "Married Tonight" for sure.
Yeah, I can see that. I think I have different favorites in terms of album songs, and then different favorites I think of in the show, like performance-wise. So, like different performance, like Shiza, which is coming up next. Performance-wise, that's one of my favorites because of how amazing it is live. And then same with like Bloody Mary, with the outfits, with the dresses that had the motorized bottoms, and the effect of that live. I mean, it is hard. You can't pick.
Of course you can pick. I mean, we did like a ranking of Born This Way in this past days. Like, what's your favorite song, guys? And I was so sure that everyone will be so pissed, at any ranking, because everyone is like, no, why is this at the bottom? This should be number one. And the people, why is this at top? This should be, because there are also great songs that, I mean,
Heavy Metal Lover. Oh my gosh, is that how?
Oh, that's.
I
forgot about that. Yeah.
I'm right.
Fernando, how did you do that?
Like, Edge of Glory.
Yeah, Bloody Mary. Even
so good.
Marry the Night.
Wow. Well, all I can say is, so what's interesting is, so a lot of people don't realize that, obviously, GaGa ran the ship, and we were following her lead, but at the same time, which makes her great is that she would ask her team to contribute and come up with ideas equally as much, right?
Okay.
And so what's awesome is that when Taro would work on a look or make her look a certain way, right? It would actually influence the music, and vice versa. Whenever we were working on a song, I'm sure it influenced a bit of the look as well.
100%. Whatever song she was working on at the time would influence what the looks were that we would do. So sometimes a look that we would be doing for a few days or a week would literally be because of the song she had been working on. It kind of creates a character that then becomes a whole look. Yeah.
And a whole song. Yeah.
Yeah. And then a whole song. It's the whole process of the creative process kind of works off of each other.
So when we get asked like what's their favorite song, it's kind of like, wow, every song on this album has a life of its own. And that's why it stands the test of time, because there's so many stories of making the song and the process of making it. You know, from with Paul, DJ White Shadow, with David Russell, with GaGa, with the whole creative team, Tara Savelo leading on the makeup and design, and Richie, like everybody would hear these songs and then critique and like suggest, and it was like Pixar, but like
Yeah.
you know, making a movie, like it really was, and all the songs were done on the road, and so every place we visit, all the fans that were screaming Tara's name or GaGa's name or Richie's name or whoever it was, I mean, those were moments that we captured, and that's why I think the fuel of this album from our side were the fans. Like they were fueling us to push even harder and make more extraordinary music.
I 100% agree, and the fans influenced a lot of things too without even realizing it.
Do we?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
you guys influence looks, you guys influence sounds, you know, it's like you get influenced, but you also are the influencers without even realizing it.
Oh yeah, we would check our Twitter. I mean, a lot of the stuff like on the themes of you know the underlying themes of the album, like you know empowerment and representing a voice for at the time disenfranchised or marginalized, voiceless communities, was all. I mean, we were on the pulse. We were always checking Twitter. We were always looking at the environments and spaces. And whenever you know, there were so many times. I'm sure Tara, you felt the same way when we just wanted to respond back on Twitter. Even to this day, there are times when we want to respond back, but we just can't. Like it's just not. It's not in our place to answer some of these questions. But equally, totally. What we can say is that it was really fan driven, and like the fans played so much a part. GaGa's fans played so much a part of making this album.
100%.
Did either of you realize how much of like a cultural phenomenon this would be?
Yeah, I wanted to ask the same.
You go, Fernando.
Well, like so think of it this way. You know, when you're in the eye of a tornado, it's really quiet, right? And you don't get to see what's happening outside and what's happening like around you. But in this tornado, it was not quiet.
Yeah.
and so there was all this civil unrest, right? So around that time, there was you know, immigration rights were being challenged severely, and equally the LGBTQ plus voice was not as present as it is today, right? It didn't have a place in the conversation, in policy. It didn't have a place in conversation in school. It didn't. So me being Latino and Mexican and you know playing for the love of all of our communities, that was happening in front of us. So I think that when music is driven by something more than just like, hey, let's make a hit, or let's make music that makes people want to dance, when it's driven by a substance that profound, I think you have no choice but to make the best music you possibly can. I mean, even to the point of like exhaustion, you just gotta. This is music that I felt, and I think the whole group felt, that would make a difference.
Yeah.
And so we didn't know we're gonna be here 10 years later still talking about it, but we did know it's gonna be important.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of moments when at least for me, I would realize I felt like I was a part of something that was like historic, even if I didn't know exactly what was happening. It was like you would go from going outside during the Monster Ball era, and there's you know, there's a few people outside, and when I first started the Monster Ball Theater, there'd be like 2 people outside the hotel, and then all of a sudden there are masses of people, and you're like, whoa, something is occurring. And then it's like these people, they all are at all the same places, and they all know each other, and they're camping out for weeks, and you're like, whoa, this is so rad. This is like some hippie stuff. This is like a revolution, and something's occurring that's like a shift in society, and we're like part of it. And I felt honored to be a part of that. That's when I knew something was happening that was bigger than pop music.
Yeah, it was bigger than us. I mean, we were like ants. We were like ants in a society that was changing, and we were with the queen ant, right?
Yeah.
So all we could do is
exactly.
support the queen ant, and to make a shift in what she wanted to do. So she's very smart. She I think, you know, she would surround herself with the most talented people, and intelligent people who would, you know, support her in every which way possible to make this extraordinary body of work.
Absolutely. And like, honestly, it's a real testament to both of your talent that you said it was such a collaboration. And I hope you just realize that you had such a hand in changing so many people's lives and even saving so many people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, that's
the hard
very
part,
special.
right?
Yeah, that is the hard part.
It's the hard part. We call it the hard part because, you know, for Tara, myself, and the whole team, I can't speak for everybody per se, but I have a feeling they mirror these feelings, and that I just, Mr. Cupcake there, I said, saved my life. I had trouble explaining this phenomenon to even family. This is personal, but even family members who work in the medical field, and who work in different, who have, like, you know, like normal real jobs, right? We call it real jobs. Explaining them that music saves lives, and what's hard to understand for someone who hasn't had their lives saved by music, it's almost like they will never understand how profound music like Born This Way can be for people, and for me, and for Tara, and all of us.
Made me really emotional.
Absolutely.
That one got me.
I mean, I all these years I've seen so many people, you know, on my timeline, on the forum, under the comments say, "Oh my God, this song really changed my life," or like, "Oh my God, this look, like when I was younger, I tried so hard to replicate so I could feel, you know, confident with myself. It really changed my life." And yeah, I mean, guys, I just want to thank you for everything that you guys, with, of course, GaGa, Don, and all the team, because this is what, not just, you know, a music project. This was really a cultural revolution. Like there hasn't been anything like Born This Way in a very long time, and I don't think there will ever be anything like that soon. So yeah, I really think that you guys should be the most proud, because this is insane, guys. You really did a piece of history with, you know, with everything. There's like not, I wouldn't change a thing, because every part of the Born This Way era was perfect, from the song, the production, the looks, everything. And, you know, I just want to say, you know, thank you for that.
We're honored. Tara.
Yeah, you talked, that made that made me emotional. You need to speak now.
Aww.
What a lot of people don't know is you know, how much, you know, everyone sacrificed to make this album this great, you know, from not sleeping to you know, have to be, you know, in places that you know, well, we could be living a life, right? We could be living our lives, or we could be doing something. But when you're, you know, when you see an opportunity to change the world, like in any which small way we can participate, like we knew this was the way to do it. And I mean, well, who better than the most iconic woman of you know, I would say our century, you know? Easily.
Yeah, hands down, the one and only.
Yeah, and this is coming from, you know, two sides, right? One side is I was in that world, right? But I was also had enough time to reflect on what's important in life, and this is up there. Like, this is like, you know, and not because like it's cool, and not because it's like, wow, like we have achieved what a lot of people wish they've achieved, but more because of what it's done to her community and her fans, and like that's what's important to us.
Yeah, I second that, what he said.
Tara, you're so sweet, I can't even. All right, guys, listen, I want to play Scheisse because I see the fans are like thrilling. Will you guys
yes,
one more?
enjoy the rest of the album. We just wanted to hop in and say hello and tell everyone we love them and appreciate.
That's right.
Appreciate all of you so much.
I really can't, again, thank you enough for everything you've done for us, for the world, and, for everything, literally everything. I don't know what to say.
Well, I love you. I love all of you. I appreciate so much. I can't even say it. I'm going to get emotional again. I appreciate all of you. So the feeling is mutual.
Of course.
Yeah, I'd say, Tara, if you're open for this, I'd say we stay in for one more song.
Yes, please.
A few more questions. If you're up for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you, guys.
Some fun questions because I think we brought the drama. Let's bring the joy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. So send some questions in the chat section, and in the meantime, enjoy Scheiße. Wow, my favorite song.
Oh my God! How can you not like dance in your room and sing along?
The power of Scheiße is like unbelievable. The beat is so sick. The fake German, everything. Oh my God.
I was like by myself in this room dancing and singing, doing the choreography.
Same.
That's the first time I heard that song in like years. I literally I haven't heard it. It's amazing. It still pops.
Oh my God, Fernando!
It's like still so relevant.
Are you telling me you don't listen to Born This Way?
As soon as I finish music, it's like I know I don't listen to anything I've done in the past unless someone plays it in front of my face. It's like it's they're moments, right, in time, and they're like, for me, they're time capsules. So it's kind of like it's amazing. I don't know. I think it's weird, but I just it's like, when you hear actors that they can't watch their own movie.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like that. It's that feeling where it's special.
No, I don't want
to spoil it. It is what it is.
That makes sense. If you were on tour, though, you would hear it every single night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, millions of times, millions. I mean, Tara, you would make so we would make a song, right? And you would we would start an idea, right? And she'd play it over and over while you did her makeup, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like at first we'd get, sometimes before you even came out, you would send like a beat, and so she would play the beat over and over and over again. We'd be like in bed in the room, just playing the beat, humming little things, coming up with ideas. And so that would be like, I'd hear it from the very beginning of like just a beat. Sometimes you just send like part of a beat, like what are they called, like stems?
Stems, yeah.
And so we'd have like a stem. I'd hear it from the stem, and a lot of times I would never even hear the album version, like the very completed mix and mastered. And so sometimes I hear the album version like on the radio or in a store, and I'm like, wait, is this? Oh, because I only heard the demos. I heard her recording it in the studio, sitting with her, and I heard the show version every night, but the actual album version, like I never actually heard. So even like today,
I didn't know that.
Like last week, I was in the car and Edge of Glory came on, and I was like jamming to it, but it still sounded kind of foreign to me. I was like, oh, okay, I see you, Edge of Glory.
Amazing.
I didn't know. It's so funny when we hear stories. I mean, like I didn't even know that. Like I thought you heard it. Like that's so crazy. So backstage and like touring with her, it's always in the bus, in the plane. It's all of us, and it's consistent, right, nonstop.
Yeah.
And so we have no idea what each other's world is like, other than we're different planets, colliding, right, constantly, or like meteors colliding onto each other's planets. It's just all like, it's all for the same effort, but it's so interesting. You never heard the finished products.
Yeah, like even like sometimes I would literally have been in the room with her when she recorded the final vocals.
I remember, yeah.
So you would think that I would like know what the final song sounded like, but it just sounds different. I'd be on set even when she made the music video where they played the song over and over and over again for like 3 days, but still the album version just sounds different.
I remember there were times, I think if I remember correctly, like some of the songs weren't even done and we're shooting videos to it.
Yeah.
And we were like literally finishing. I mean, people don't realize that this, I mean, it's a lot of work, but yeah, a lot of the times it's like, a race to the finish, and That's what we say. What's so special about it is the space, the fans, everything influenced the music. We would when we would read something that was really particularly striking, like someone had I think I remember when someone had like their family torn apart from one of these were real difficult times, and someone had their family, obviously because of immigration. I don't get too much into it, but and that affected. We're talking about this literally as someone was going through this, and America's where Americano started.
Yeah.
And that's where this conversation started. Like this is real time. All the songs on this album were in real time.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for sure. And as a cool fan, I mean, it's one of the things that like I appreciated the most about GaGa and her music and her journey is that she's been advocating and using her platform for the good and the welfare of the world since the beginning. I mean, I remember this year when she halted promotion for her Chromatica to really give up her platform for Black Lives Matter. And I mean, this isn't new for her. She's just so selfless. And I mean, I just wonder, Tara and Fernando, like, how does it feel just like having worked with like the most selfless, most kind, most generous woman in the entire world? Like
how does it? How you go, Fernando?
Yeah, I mean it's like saying, how does it work? How does it feel to work for or work with like the Gandhi artist of right? Like the pivotal kind of catalyst for change for as an artist. It's hard to say other than like I feel it's like equivalent to like what it's our equivalent to working at the White House.
Yeah.
Music.
Wow. Nice.
And it felt it did feel like that sometimes.
Yeah, it did.
Like when I watched watch shows like that, I'm like, oh yeah, we had like a life like that a lot. We're like meeting with world leader. I mean, it wasn't like a regular working with a pop star. You're like, world leaders are coming in. Like, oh, we have press, we have this, we have photo shoot, and then like this important world leader is coming in to meet her. Oh yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, that was every
daily basis. Wow. Just like us now today, we're just having Tara and Fernando with us, and everyone is like, oh my god.
Well, we're humbled. We're humbled. We when it's difficult for us to do this because we don't. I think everyone in her team is pretty humble and equally doesn't. It's tricky for us to kind of share our amazing experiences because on one side we're in respect to it's her fan, her world, and so we try to stay as as respectful as possible, but equally we're also at the same time super excited. Like it's like we're like oh my god, we actually do the parties. Like I wish I can tell you about the parties. Like that's so we constantly ride these two sides, but it's all in gratitude, right? Because we're without the fans, we have nothing to write about, right? Like without their stories, without their fuel, without them standing outside during making this album, like and GaGa going out and feeding pizza to her fans, and like us watching this and sitting in 100,000 foot stadium and playing Americano with her, or Tara doing 12, 15, 16 different looks in one day and seeing this how people react. It's all again, it's like the White House.
Yeah. And it doesn't, without the fans, there's no one to receive it.
That's right. If the tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, right?
It would still be amazing, but it would still be amazing art.
Can't
but
tell
there
anybody
would be nobody to appreciate it.
That's right. But please feel free to ask questions. We're here and
of course. Like we have tons of questions, and also my editors, they're like begging me, please put me in. So if you see people coming in and by, it's me, switching them. We had Chelsea, we had Ben, and now we have Michael that I think has a question, and then we
hi guys.
Hi Michael.
It's so nice to speak to you. We obviously really appreciate the time you're giving for this. We appreciate you guys more than you know. I was just wondering, this is probably an impossible question to answer, but if you could try for me, that would be really great. If you had to pick one favorite memory from the creative process of the album, what would it be?
Oh.
Tara, don't spoil. You know what?
Okay, I won't.
Same for you, Fernando. Pick something else, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'll share a story I don't think I've ever told. So this is special. There was this place. There was this studio in Germany. I don't know, Tara, if you remember the song, where we had to play a song for the record label, right? We didn't have to do it. GaGa was excited to premiere show a song to the whole team at Interscope, etc. And we were playing the song and the speaker. So to picture this, everyone. All the executives fly in from Interscope, like all the whole team, like the Universal family, like the label, right? That's like really like GaGa doesn't care about that stuff, but I did. I was working for the label at the time, so I was working for both sides, right? And so I was, so they all fly in, and it was really tense. And it's like the suits come in the studio, like I think it was like in I think it was Zurich, I don't remember, somewhere, and. So she starts playing the music and she starts dancing and showing and talking to the song, and then she lifts the volume up on the mixing board and plays the song, and then she puts it down, plays the song again, and then puts the volume back up, and she's facing the whole team in the room, the executives in the room, and I'm sitting next to her, and she can't see the console or the speakers, the mixing board or the speakers, and so she's playing the song, and literally I see one speaker like light up in flames. No joke. It was one of those black and white NS10 speakers. So one speaker starts blowing up, like you can see smoke coming out. And then me and Dave Russell are looking at each other, the engineer, and it's like, should we tell her? She's like, and he's like, he said, no, like, I'm like, dude, we got to tell her. It's like, and I'm sure she smells the smoke, but she's so into the song, she's dancing and kind of mouthing the lyrics. And then I'm like, dude, someone's got to tell her. And then she smells something, but she doesn't like make anything of it, right? And then she puts the volume even louder, right? So then you actually see on the same speaker, which is the left side, I remember this, you see that it turned to blue smoke, right? So when you see blue smoke, it's electrical, right? So the speaker starts catching on fire. Okay, so then like, okay, I'd like, dude, Dave, like, what the F? Like, we gotta tell it. Like, and so people behind her, all eyes closed, they're looking down, right? They're looking down and kind of bobbing their heads. Nobody sees this. It's me and Dave. GaGa's dancing like fanatically to her song. Then the right speaker starts smoking, and then literally 15 seconds later, and by the way, we're hearing the music like with broken speakers. So now it starts sounding like just you just start. You hear no bass. You just hear her vocals. And then the right side catches on fire as well. And all we hear is like sizzle of her vocal. We don't even hear the music anymore. People are still head down. Nobody dares to look up. The speakers are on fire. And then I'm like, okay, GaGa, that's dude, their speakers are on fire. And then she starts dancing and celebrating in joy because she blew up the speakers for one of the songs. And yeah, I think it might have been Edge of Glory. I don't remember, but it was one of those like iconic records that she was not going to stop the record even if she burned the house down.
That is so GaGa. This is so GaGa. I
mean, that's great. I love that.
I love this one.
I'm sure there's several stories like that. Tara,
yeah, I would say like a lot of the looks that people love are like the Princess High era, and a lot of those looks were born from, we were in, I want to say Copenhagen or Amsterdam, and we were in some of those hotel rooms. We would be there for like 4 or 5 days, like living in a hotel. And when we would be doing that, she would have like a suite. And so we would all just go in her hotel suite and hang out there and set up like recording equipment. And just, that would be where everyone would go in the morning. And we just spend all our time in there. And so you end up on tour spending an outrageous amount of time with everyone. Like, you just get used to spending morning till 5 a.m. with everyone sitting in a room. Sometimes doing everything but nothing at the same time. So she would, you know, if we had a day off, sometimes we'd go out, but sometimes we'd just stay in and, you know, think of ideas and watch cartoons. And I remember this one day, I feel like there was either fabric there or it was part of the lampshade or something. And she was like being silly and she started like wrapping it around her head. But it was not actually for clothing. It was like either like a curtain or there was something that was a piece of the hotel room. And she wrapped it around her head. And then there was like a piece from either a sticker book or like a coloring book, but it was like a Disney princess thing. And she cut it out and she tucked it in the side of the fabric thing.
Oh my God!
She made into a turban. Yeah,
the pink turban.
So
I remember the picture with the princess under it. Oh my God!
And it looked, I was like, weirdly that like you somehow like you make everything look like fabulously fashion. And so that kind of like birthed this look that we then kind of dragged on it was like we had a show. After the show, there was like a selection of clothes for her to wear sent from Brandon. And there was one of them, I don't think he expected her to wear. It was like this really extra like wedding gown. Like it was literally a wedding gown from like a wedding gown designer. I think it was local. And we all saw it and we were like, yes. And so she put the wedding gown on and we were like, this is the look. Like, this is now the thing. Like, it's a princess high. This is it. So then that became like, for the next few days, we were just like, she would just grab something and like wrap it around her head and somehow make it into a magical turban. And if a fan had like thrown something on the stage, it could be like a piece of paper that had a Disney princess on it. She would like find a way to tuck it in and make it into something fabulous. And I would always be like, how do you do that? Like, she literally, I can't remember what the look was, but she literally took a lampshade one time off of a lamp.
I remember that very well. And I was
like, that is an actual lampshade. Like, how do you make a lampshade
I
fashion?
always thought that it was high fashion something.
Like, she was being silly. Like, she literally put a lampshade on her head and like did like a runway walk. And then we're like,
oh my God,
I kind of like it. Like,
you're changing my life.
We're like,
but that's what creativity is, isn't it? It's like people pay like millions of dollars, like companies and leaders around the world pay like tons of money to learn this type of creativity, right? And all it is silliness. It starts out with like random ideas you put together, what's around you, right? And then you synthesize it into something, right? So that's what genius is, right? The ability to synthesize something from nothing, right?
Absolutely.
That's a great example of it.
She just like and it was always like out of fun, you know, like we were all just like happy and having a great time. And then it would be like, you know what, that looks amazing. Like, do it.
But here's the thing. I like, as brilliant as she is, I also have to give credit to the people around her, because like Tara, for example, so people don't know this. I know this because I've seen it all the time, is when she would have a crazy idea, like you couldn't possibly think of anything wilder and crazy. Like Tara had to make it, right? Like she had to make that look. Like, I see myself as an alien coming to Earth and giving birth to a new pop era of music, right? What does that look like? and Tara would design a look for that day to inspire the music, or so just to give credit to her team and Tara in particular in this case, she was not a makeup designer. She was a makeup artist. She was a makeup designer. She's like the holy grail of makeup artistry. Like, she is the top. Like, there's nobody more, I think, ambidextrous and like, I mean, she had a PhD in makeup art. Let's put it that way.
I always say to people that Tara is able, you know, to draw eyeliner that can cut, you know, bread, because she was so perfect. It was so sharp. that it was. I mean, it was like razor.
GaGa used to call it. Also used to call it car wash makeup.
Why?
She used to brag that I did car wash makeup because people would come backstage, like celebrities and stuff, after the show, and they would always be like, "How does your makeup still look so fabulous? Like, I just watched your show, and it was like really long, like 2.5 hours, and you were dancing your face off, and you sang." And she would be like, "Oh, that's Tara. She perfected car wash makeup." And they'd be like, "What's car wash makeup?" She'd be like, "I could literally go through a car wash right now, and I would still look like this." And they were like, "Oh, amazing."
If this isn't talent, I don't know what it is. I mean, all right. I think, guys, we can read like 1-2 questions from the chat, and then I swear I can let you go because I don't wanna. I know you're busy.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, Abderrahman, did you find something? All right. Let me skip. So this
it looks like.
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
No, sorry.
No, you go.
All right. I found this one. It's for Fernando, and it says, "Can you talk about the process of the making of Heavy Metal Lover?"
Yeah. Oh my God. So that was near the end. I think that was one of the last songs that we did. And so this is like near the end of like, I mean, we were on the road. That was a few years already. Like, I think, it was quite a few years. I mean, it's all a bit of like a blur in the sense that we're just always so busy. And at this point, everybody's exhausted. She's been touring nonstop, like, dealing with a growing brand, growing fandom, growing everything, right? At the same time. So she's human, right? So I think I was also very tired. I was also very exhausted. And, I felt like I only had a little bit of a vocal. I didn't have much because we had no more time to record vocals. And so I worked with what I had, right? So I had I think a verse and a chorus, and I didn't think we even had a second verse. And I was like, God, I really want to make something that, oh, by the way, but the way it starts is like either she'll sing me a voice memo, she'll send me a voice memo on her phone, and then we make music around that, or vice versa. I'll have a musical idea, and a track or something, and or some chords, and I send it to her, text it to her, and she write to that and send me back an idea. So it's back and forth, right? And it's just like we're a room away from each other, or we're on the bus, but it's 24 hours cycle of creativity. Like, we don't stop. So in this case, I had a voice memo, and it was the Heavy Metal Lover kind of intro. And, I had total freedom here to like make something out of very little. And then once, and it's like, when you make a song, with her, you have to like, not every song makes the album, right? Because some songs are just ideas that were never finished. And then this one, I didn't want it to be just an idea that we never finished. So I worked really hard and to make it sound like part of the album and iconic, right? So I just wanted one song that was just pure, like, emotional, dance with tears in your eyes song, right? It didn't have to be like, here, let's be revolutionary about it, but let's just paint a party of like this, like, dance, feel good, like emotional catharticism, like that. That's what I wanted you to feel like when you heard this song, just like blissful, I wanted you to feel high, like, and I wanted you to feel in love, right? And so that's what Heavy Metal Lover for me was. It was a perfect expression, a perfect time to express myself in a way that I wasn't able to with other artists. That's the other side of this, Tara. I'm sure you know. Very few artists give you the full opportunity to express yourself at your fullest. See, a lot of the time it's like what the label wants to see, or maybe what only like one vision of the artist. But this, and with her case, is that it's like she wanted us to do what we wanted to hear or create, right? And that's what's amazing about working with her. And same for Paul. It's like she put great people together, and Dave Russell, and that was the fun part. So back to your question, Heavy Metal Lover, it was a moment to kind of just explode with passion and rejoice and be cathartic about your pain and dance your pain away.
Absolutely, and I can totally feel it because, like, in the last part of the song, in the with the big bass that revolves around you, you can feel like this powerful, I don't know, energy coming around you and lifts you up. And I mean, you really did that. I mean,
it's so good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, is Heavy Metal Lover the one with Peter's voice on it? I forget.
That's Government Hooker.
Oh, okay,
Government
sorry.
Oh my god.
I forget sometimes.
Right. Do your homework.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry for saying this without saying hi.
A voice just like came from the shadows
and dragged you down.
It's like, how dare you?
That's profanity. Oh,
will you tell them how that happened? That was like my favorite moment in life. And then every night when I would hear Peter's voice coming out of the speakers, and I would look at his face would like turn red, and he would have a smirk on his face. I'd be like, oh my god.
Yeah, I know. He was super shy, and he was like, he doesn't speak, right? And it's awesome. So we were in the studio making that
I love Peter.
Piecing that song together, and we're like, we need a real kind of we need a character voice of like, a Northern European eccentric artist, right? And then we all turned to
Peter in the corner.
Yeah, Peter in the corner is like, Peter!
Eating a protein bar.
Yeah. It was like, we need you to sound like super eccentric. And he goes, what do you mean, eccentric? I go, that's perfect. Let's get it on tape. So we just record him speaking. Right? And then that was it. That's what happened. He goes, you're not going to use this, right? I'm like, no. We have to use this, right? You're like, no, of course not. And then, like, the album comes out and his voice is on it. He just is embarrassed. Like,
and then he has to stand in front of the stage every night while his voice is, like, going to the speakers. I knew he liked it. He secretly was
historic.
Like... Yeah, he secretly was happy. Yeah, of course. That's what happened.
Oh, my God, poor man.
It's equivalent. Yeah, it's equivalent of, like, the way those outfits came, right? It's just, like, it was all serendipitous. It's like, if you change one thing in history, it changes everything else, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Oh my God, Peter.
It's one of the most iconic things, on Born This Way. And it's so fun that, it came out like that.
He does like it. He's like, that's my voice.
Yeah, like sometimes
I'm just
most
like
iconic
Arnold.
things.
So fun. Oh my God.
So let's take another question. Ask a hard question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go on.
Well, hello first. Thank you so much for joining us. So happy to talk to you. My question is for Fernando and Tara, and it's, what was your favorite memory from the Born This Way ball?
Tour.
Born This Way ball tour. Yeah.
You go first on this one.
God, it's so hard because it's like, a very long period of time of so many good times that when you ask that, it's like my brain goes and like scrolls through a million happy things. So like a favorite, I don't have a favorite, but okay, let me think. I mean, there's so many times. What I think of immediately is like times that we were all together, like having fun. The Born This Way ball tour, I would say, like, I liked a lot of the things that we did that were just like happened naturally. Like when she recorded when they recorded Cake, that was really fun, and we kind of messed with you all with the whole
yeah, of
the whole
course we remember.
contest.
Just like I told you, like yesterday, we're still waiting for that. I mean, push a button.
We played with you about there being a contest when we really were. She was really recording a song in the hotel room, and then we, you know, made a little video. That was really fun.
I mean, the Born This Way ball in Europe was really a whole vibe, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there was the whole. I feel like we were just doing lots of like spontaneous things. There was a lot of people traveling with us, and so we had like a large group of people, like kind of like a bigger family, an extended family, and so that just makes it even more fun having all these people who you love and are with you, and you're like together 24 hours a day. You're just like doing fun things. And I feel like we filmed a lot of things. Like she was always doing like monster visions, and there was always photo shoots, and we were just always like doing things. If we had a little bit of time off, we'd be like, hey, let's do a photo shoot. And then I feel like you guys as fans, you got to see things right away. So like we would film something or do a photo shoot, and then it would go to you immediately. Like you would see it right away. So we'd get feedback right away, like your excitement. And that kind of like made things even more fun and exciting. You know what I mean?
I think one of my favorite memories from that time was you and Gaga and Freddie going to a river. I think it was in Budapest or something. It was on a Monster Vision, and you were all like with Fozzy and eating in front of the river. I thought it was so cool.
And was it with the orange hair?
Yeah, exactly, with that orange hair.
Or even like we went to Amsterdam for like a day. We had a day off, and she wanted to go to Amsterdam, and we took the darkness with us. And that was when we filmed that other Monster Vision that had the darkness and Lady Starlight in it.
Yeah.
The one with like the tickling on the bed.
Yeah. With
a lot of
exactly.
Yeah, a lot of like spontaneous stuff like that, and be like, hey, let's do this today. And be like, okay. And then we would go, and there'd be like a lot of people with us. So it was just like, it was a lot of fun times. And like Rio was really cool.
Yeah.
Rio was really special. Like flying in on a helicopter into the show, and like this crowd of people was like, whoa, this is wild. This is like a lot of people. This is like really, all these people are here to see you. This is amazing. And that audience was like, just walking out to that audience and standing there during the show. I was like, oh my God, this is like a different energy. It's so intense because there's so many people and it's outside. Something about the outdoor shows. We're just like, oh my gosh.
Totally. I can relate. My version of that, it was in Mexico.
Mexico, yeah. The Mexico one was like that too. It was like, it makes you emotional. It's like you walk out into the crowd and you stand there and you immediately like tear up and you're like, wait, why am I crying? What's happening? What are these? Why do I have tears on my face? I watch this show every night. What's happening? But it's like the energy of the crowd like overtakes you. When it's outside, it's just different for some reason. It's like I don't even know why. And then it starts raining, and you're like, oh, now it's curtains. It's curtains for me.
I know there's a I think there was someone took video of this, but I don't think people know the backstory. But one of my favorite moments was when we finished. We were I think near finishing the album, and she said before it was even out, she's like, let's premiere Americano in Mexico, right? And Mexico City. And I flew home for a break for like we don't get breaks, but it was like one of those rare times when I'm like, oh, okay, we can take a break. And so I flew home. I thought I was going to stay home for like a day or two, but I get a call the same day to go back. And she's like, hey, you want to premiere the song in Mexico? I'm like, yeah. And I thought she was like, play it like, play at a party or something, right?
Yeah.
And so we literally land at the concert, and I said, hey, we're in Mexico. Do you mind if I bring my parents?
Yeah, I remember your family was there. I got to meet your family.
Yeah. And she's like, yeah, bring them along. Like, they'll love to see you live. And I thought that was it, right? So we get to the concert, and she comes backstage. I remember it's in Mexico, a soccer stadium at Mexico City.
Yeah,
and
I remember that show.
Yeah, you were there, right? And then she hands me a guitar like backstage.
Here you go.
100,000. Yeah, here you go. And 100,000 people. It's like, do you want to play it? I'm like, oh my god, like what? And so I'm quickly trying to remember the chords to the song. And she walks me out on stage. My parents are on the side of the stage. Like, I mean, she knew what she was doing. Like, that was really special. Like, she's like showing, my family like what we did together, and that's extraordinary. That's one of my favorite moments. And equally as favorite is working with Paul, working with Tara, working with Dave Russell. Like as much as how crazy it was, and how wild the personalities were all, and how different everybody was. I think that's what gave this album the ferociousness, right? Like when you hear these songs, there's this undercurrent of like fierceness, and like, I mean, I can only describe it. It's ferocious,
and personality, right? Too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, how does somebody know about our Thanksgiving in Peru? I just saw that question asking about the Thanksgiving in Peru. I was like, were you there?
I love it. I know the fans know so much.
I was just watching video that I found on my computer of that, and it's not video I can release. That's why I was wondering. Are you in my computer? How do you know?
And you know how protective we had to be too on the music. It was just like we were like, it was just high security, high alert, because nobody wanted to spoil the music for the fans. So
oh my god,
protect the music at all costs.
Are you kidding? I'm still like, the people who are around me now are like, why is your phone why are you so weird about your phone? I'm like, I'm still paranoid. Like, I don't have any. I'm like, I have leftover paranoia that someone's going to try to steal something off my phone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. Like, this is back to this whole point again of like a respect for the artists that you work with, right? It's up to them to decide, like the artist, right? Like in this case, GaGa, it's up to her to decide whether she wants to release a piece of music or not,
or anything really,
work with somebody or not. And those are the hard kind of aspects of working with someone, someone like her and someone extraordinary and an icon, right? Is our job and the right way to do this, I believe, and always been, is respect to who we're working with and why we're doing it. So in respect to her fan base and her and Lady Gaga is like, hey, if she wants to tell you or announce something, we can't spoil that for her. It's her world, right? So out of respect to the difficult questions, like the mariachi version of Americano, I could never answer that out of respect for her. Answering that would be disrespectful to her.
Yeah, 100%. I
agree
and second that. Same with like any videos or like music videos or documentaries or anything,
or songs.
It's not something.
Or
it's not something that
alternative versions.
It's not something anyone but her has the right to answer.
That's right. Yeah, and that's just good etiquette and good ethics, right? Like, I hope that represents how much we care about her fans and how much we care about her.
Absolutely, this is a very important lesson, because I understand that as a fan like myself, I would pay millions, to get stuff like, the unseen stuff, the music, the music video. But there is always a line when, my needs doesn't have, to cross the boundaries of, the respect for the artist that I love. And I really want to thank you for saying that, because, everyone has to understand that there has to be, a fine line that doesn't have to be crossed with, the demands.
Yeah, because it's her art,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then what you can do is like, you know, the other thing is like you can tease ideas and all that. And I don't know, that seems like it's still diminishing like her and her artistry, right? So that's what we're just kind of upfront about. Is like that's a line we don't touch because it's her world, and she's done so many great things for her fans, so many things, and in respect to that, we have to stay neutral about it.
Oh, absolutely. And also, as I said before, you know, the Born This Way era was like literally like perfect. Like, there's nothing that I would change right now. Like, you know, the single, the music videos, the makeup. So I don't see like the need to, you know, ask for more. I mean, it's perfect. Let's leave it like that. I mean, at least this is what I believe.
Thank you. Are there any more why you have us here? Any other questions that are burning?
All right.
We'll take one more.
Yeah, I mean, the chat is literally burning. Stop that.
I have a random question for you both.
Go.
Well, it's not random. It obviously has to do with Born This Way, but is there a song on the album that you wish had gotten a music video?
We stay quiet. That's a hard question. I mean, I was lucky because like I was very close to Married Tonight and like emotionally, and so I literally sat through every part of that video, like helping on every aspect of it, from like sound design to like even with Ruth Hogben, I think it was, the director, and yeah, so I was in there, so I kind of lived out my dream of directing, sort of indirectly, right? But I don't know. I think did Bloody Mary get a video?
Oh
no, it didn't.
I mean, I wish they all had got videos.
Fernando, you're making me cry saying this. Like, this is like,
yeah.
In a perfect world, they would all have had music videos.
Yeah.
Every single one.
But again, we didn't know. We didn't know how extraordinary and what a landmark moment this would be, right? So we're kind of like, well, we only had so much time in a day, and she had to make selections, and actually, she was cool. She asked us like, what songs should, like, she would ask, what songs are going to make the album, what songs aren't, what video should we? I mean, she was very democratic and meritocratic, about the whole process. That was cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, someone just was saying about I forgot about Bad Kid. So many good songs.
Yeah,
they should like all deserve a video. Perfect world.
It would have been an incredible visual album, absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, every song has, its vibe, and, it's like background story. So you can actually imagine a movie for each song, and it's just the magic of Born This Way.
Well, it's two-way, isn't it? Because this album was made for the fans, and it's cool to see the fans do their own version of it. I love that. I love seeing that. I love watching. I'll check out videos once in a while even though I don't revisit the music, I do revisit, like, when somebody tweets it at me. I do that. It's cool. I mean, the people work hard for, to show their what GaGa has done for them, right? To show their appreciation,
I love that.
I should say. Yeah, it's beautiful. I
just saw someone asked if I could do the Shiza choreography. Oh my god, no. Freddie and I would be next to the stage every night, and we would like fake, because when you watch the show that many times, it's like ingrained like in your blood, like the choreography, but you can't execute it. And so we would sit there and we would like quote unquote do the choreography. I thought you could like see my fingers. You can like quote unquote do the choreography, but you can't. And so we would be like sitting there facing each other, like fake doing the choreography, but not actually doing it, because we don't have the physical acumen.
I think I recall you fully doing the choreography. I don't throw you under the bus, but yeah. And but isn't that the term, throwing someone under the bus? It really came from Born This Way tour, didn't it? Like everybody was forced to expose themselves. Yeah.
Oh my god, it literally did.
And what I mean by that, there was no comfort. Like, that's one thing I did learn, like, from her and from working, is my biggest lesson was like, when you work for her, there is no shell. Like you are coming out of like all shyness, all like you can't be humble. Like no, it's like she's asking for your true personality.
Yeah.
And that was wild, because you can't when you're with someone for that long and that much amount of time, there is no like, your reserved self and your true self, right? The reserved self is you save for like best friends or like your family, right? And then your front facing self, like to the public, is this a limited version of yourself, right? But with her, it's you're your true self 24/7. So we're constantly challenged to push even harder on our creativity and our honesty, right? As we make this music and this tour. So throwing people under the bus was a metaphorical term to show that, hey, you are on the spotlight and you're gonna tell us like your true self or express your true self.
Well, it's like, don't they say like if you live with somebody for like 3 months or something, then you like really, you actually know them, and we all lived together for way longer than that.
Yeah, way
and
longer,
like we lived together like in like a tuna can, because it was like in an actual bus where like your bunk, like I remember like one of our original security people who was there in the very beginning, it was like one of my first weeks on tour, and I was like in the bottom bunk, and he like stepped out of his bunk and he was just in his underwear, and like my eye line was like where you don't want to be, and I was like, okay, this is my life now. It's like, well, I guess we know each other really well now.
I guess we're friends now. Yeah.
This
No,
is just, you meet somebody one day and the next day you're like, hi, you're in your undies. Well,
yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Welcome to the next 6 years.
Yeah, exactly, right. I do miss the people. I do miss.
Me too.
I do miss everybody. There were. Yeah, she just knew how to put like really awesome people together. Really super talented, creative, intelligent, kind. I mean, I can't say nothing. I mean, I love how wild like DJ White Shadow was. I love how what a soldier Dave Renee was. I love how whimsical Tara was. I love how Freddie was just always like, whatever you need, like, what do you need? Like, just the sweetest people on tour. I mean, the whole team, like, I get like still emotional thinking about it. Like,
yeah, me too.
It was a landmark time. And how, like Tara and I were talking, how what happens, like, what can we do to help? We learned that you can change the world through music, through Born This Way. That's what we learned, and all we want to do is kind of continue that and changing the world through our talents. So as you see us working on different things, and it's all for the same motivation: is what can we do to help change the world, help keep people voices, give people opportunity, and my mission, and I invite everybody to follow our mission, is to raise the awareness of the creative class and their abilities. So what I mean by this is there are photographers, there are artists, there are painters, there are poets, there are writers, there are songwriters, there are producers who all need an opportunity, not only to get to have a real shot, like working like what GaGa did, gave people an opportunity who had no previous experience, professional experience. Well, we want to do that. We want to build a community of opportunity. And so one of the things that I've created was this company called the Garibay Center. And you see me talk about this online all the time, because we are recruiting and mentoring and giving different communities opportunities to be heard and to showcase their art and to work with leaders around the world to have a real voice in the conversation of what happens to their careers, and not limited for musicians and songwriters and photographers to be limited only to platform output, but to have a real sustainable business, a real sustainable career. So that's the hope of what we're doing at the Garibay Center, and what our next mission is. And hopefully that inspires people to continue doing what they love, and it's all inspired. A lot of it's inspired by this experience working with GaGa and Tara and Paul and Dave Renee and Freddie and the whole team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think that you inspired so many people, and you will do it, for the rest of the time, because an album and an era like Born This Way, it's endless. It will stick like till the end of time, like all the good big albums of this world.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us, and you'll hear more from us. I hope in the future. We love the fans more than anything. We love GaGa. We love the whole community. It's one big family, and we're here to support. And through the hard times, through the good times, we're always going to be here.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much again to both of you, because what you did tonight is historic, especially you, Fernando, because you're like a rare creature. Like
he is. It's true.
I told you. When you told me about Fernando, it was like, what? It's like he's like a legend. He's like a myth, a ghost. I don't know, something like that. He never feels around.
I already come up with special occasions. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And this is a special occasion, so what better to support and show my love for the community and the fans and everybody who's been changed forever by this music, and including myself. So thank you, everybody, so much. Thank you, Tara, for inviting me, and LadyGagaNow and the whole team here. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you both again. And to the fans in the chat, stay tuned tomorrow, because we asked a few questions more to Tara and Fernando, and you will, read them tomorrow on our website. So stay tuned, and thank you again, Tara and Fernando.
All right, love you guys. Enjoy the rest of the album.
Bye-bye.
Bye.